Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here. So I'm sure you all saw the trailer yesterday. Absolutely insane job by the trailer team. They are literally the only team over at DICE and EA who I have never ever seen drop the ball once. The scripting of the whole thing, the audio, it just absolutely blows me away every time, so kudos to them. Excellent job, guys. I'm sure you've all already watched Jack's video or another creator, so I'm not going to just rehash that, but I did want to point out a couple of things that may have gone under your radar here, and then I want to touch on a few sensitive areas in this video that I think are quite telling of how things are currently working internally over at DICE, how this could reflect on future support for Battlefield 2042 and the content that we're getting overall. As always guys, if you do enjoy the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Current goal is the big 50,000 subscribers. That would be absolutely massive for me, so thank you to everyone for your support. So let's start with the grenades here. So they're adding 3 new kinds of grenade to the game. I'm not sure if any of these are like assault only, like the concussive nade is, but we're getting the spring grenade, which apparently bounces and then explodes, the anti-tank nade, which we saw in the trailer used against an attack helicopter, and then the mini grenade. Now at least 2 of these are, I feel, throwbacks to Battlefield 4. The mini grenade existed in that game and it was identical to a regular nade but with a smaller area of effect, and you could carry an extra grenade to compensate, so expect to have 2 mini grenades instead of just 1. The spring grenade sounds very similar to the impact nade, also from Battlefield 4, and that one exploded as soon as it hit the floor. However, explosive spam is already pretty high in Battlefield 2042, so I do kind of question DICE's moves here, their motives. Yes, you can only carry 1 type of grenade, but if you do indeed get 2 mini grenades, then that means overall there will be more of them. Couple that with the Irish APS nerf and everybody wanting to, try out the new spring grenades, which is definitely going to happen, and it could be more spammy than ever. We also saw the stationary AA guns spoken about by DICE in a recent dev blog as part of the whole vehicle overhaul, and I think judging by the position of this gun here, we can safely say that this is not a deployment-only defensive weapon, as was the case in most maps in Battlefield 3 and 4, but it seems to rather be on an objective like it was in Battlefield 5. We also see an engineer repairing the gun, confirming that they can be both repaired and of course destroyed. I can't seem to spot the operator though who's actually using the gun, however, so unlike Battlefield 5 where you could kill the person using the gun, it seems like it's controlled remotely from another location or something. Again, I'm not 100% on that, that's just what I can see from the trailer here. I don't have any more information, so if anybody's heard something, by all means leave it in the comments down below. Now as for content overall here, I generally like what I see. I think the new weapons are cool, but if you thought the previous 4 seasons lacked content, then you certainly won't be very happy with what DICE are delivering here. So we've got 1 new map, a map rework, 3 new weapons, 3 grenades, and a new gadget. Now this new gadget is the RPG that is of course highlighted in the trailer when Boris pulls it out, so obviously it's a new engineer gadget, and don't get me wrong, I think it's a good addition to the game, but it's basically already in the game, so they've definitely cut down on a lot of development resources by firstly not having to create a new specialist. Think of all the work that entails from the concept, modeling, voice lines, etc. Making a new gadget instead is so much easier and so much less work, and what could be easier than just porting something over that already exists in Portal, right? There's also no new vehicle here, and whilst a lot of people feel that the game already has enough vehicles, I would have loved to see a new variety of jet, and with the vehicle rework, it could have been a great opportunity to expand on the rather limited selection of jet loadouts by doing just that. But in DICE's defense, they did state recently that the reason they haven't released any new Vault weapons, for example, is due to the fact that they're rebalancing them. And so releasing new weapons into that climate would just further complicate the process. And the same thing is of course happening with the vehicle loadouts and the new AA guns being added. Vehicle play in general is kind of having a bit of an overhaul here, and so it might not make sense to add a new vehicle into the game at this stage either. But I do think it's pretty telling and fair to say really that the season's team has most likely been heavily cut down. It feels like a bit more of a budget season than the previous 4 to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm still really looking forward to playing it, and I think it's great that there is even a Season 5 at all. After all, it could have easily been cut after Season 4, right? Now, after my previous video and the evidence that points towards continued support for Battlefield 2042 and the second year of content, I really did expect some kind of an announcement here, or at the very least just like a line of text at the end of the trailer saying that Season 6 was in the works, or something along those lines, and I think it's fair to say that most of the community did as well. The lack of that announcement has put a huge amount of doubt over the future of the game. Not only that, but Lars Gustafsson, Mr. Battlefield himself, who left the company some months ago, has now recently announced his new studio, TTK Games, and I definitely would like to do a dedicated video all about that. However, when he announced that, a bunch of DICE developers also made it clear that they were leaving DICE to join his new studio, and among them was this guy here, Amadeus. He was a live service producer, if memory serves, and he is now the world design director for TTK Games, and he was interviewed on episode 3 of the Battlefield podcast, so we know he worked on the previous 4 seasons and that he's now left the team. Danny on PC, given that he, practically lives on Twitter, also didn't miss the fact that Darko here is no longer working for DICE either, so we don't know where he's gone yet, but he has obviously left the team now. So this definitely seems to coincide with what I see as an obvious slimming down of this season compared to the previous 4. So here's the way that I see it. I do still think we're going to see more content for the game. I think it's too early to throw in the towel altogether. However, I think the chance of a full 4 additional seasons, that is to say season 5, 6, 7 and 8, is not going to happen. They've probably got season 6 in development, and for whatever reason, most likely due to legal stipulations from EA, they haven't been able to announce it yet. And when I say season 6, it could be nothing more than a new map, a couple of weapons and a battle pass. I think that's what we're most likely to see here, a very bare bones season, so that EA can slam a battle pass on there and sell those, rather than drip feeding us a map here and a weapon there for free content over time. Now, if Season 6 would prove to be a big success, perhaps they'll greenlight a Season 7, but I definitely think they're playing it by ear at this point, and they're keeping, all doors open so they can take whichever route better suits EA's business plan. I have no idea how much money they're making off of the season's battle passes and the in-game store and all of that stuff, so it's anybody's guess really whether it's actually financially lucrative and worth it for EA to continue down this road, and so unfortunately we're just simply going to have to wait and see. In any case, I'm definitely looking forward to the next couple of weeks and seeing just what Season 5 is all about. That's all we can really do at this point. Look forward to Season 5 and cross our fingers that we're going to get some content after that. I am right there with you guys, hoping that that is certainly going to be the case, and I'm just praying that we're not in for a longer drought than is necessary. If you did miss my video the other day, kind of looking at some of the evidence of why we could be getting more support for the game going into a year 2, feel free to check that one out if that interests you. As always, thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and of course consider subscribing if you enjoy my content. And as always, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.